Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shasheena. Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the recent spate of oil spills off the southern shores of Grand Bahama was the topic of debate in the House of Assembly today. The issue was brought to the floor by a member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, Nico Grant. There has been 3 oil spills since December of last year, and all have been linked to Borco. While making his contribution in Parliament, MP Nico Grant admonished the government to hold the local oil storage company accountable for the recent environmental issues. He also called on the government to revisit the plan to relocate the residents in the neighboring settlements.
Government need to demand that Borco provide satisfactory answers as it relates to these oil spills and what they are doing to prevent them in the future. Mr. Speaker, Borco recently expanded their tanks and is now in the backyard of some of my constituents and in the front door of others. Now the Minister for Grand Bahama has had a number of meetings with the residents of Finders Point, Lewis Yard, and others, building up their hopes and creating the impression that relocation was just a matter of time, but we've heard nothing from him in recent months. The residents would like to hear from the Minister of Grand Bahama about what he and his government are doing about relocation. It is wrong to build up people's hope and then abandon them.
Well, Minister for Grand Bahama, Dr. Michael Darville, took issue with the Central Grand Bahama MP's comments. He said the government is proactive on the issue.
We are in a process of evaluating the situation that was left behind by the former administration. We are now in the final stages of opening the Ministry of Grand Bahama office in the Finders Point and Lewis Yard, where we will be conducting one-on-one communication with the residents. We are now in the final stages of getting the funding to do necessary drilling in the area to assess the groundwater. I reach out again to the member of Central Grand Bahama as a member in Grand Bahama to say let's work together and address this problem.
Well, industrial tension continues to build in some sectors of Grand Bahama, but tonight the new Assistant Director of Labor says he is on a mission to build a stronger partnership with the business sector while ensuring that the rights of Bahamian workers are protected. Grand Bahama's unemployment rate remains in the double digits, and with a sluggish economy and the island still reeling from massive layoffs, the Department of Labor here on the island has its fair share of work. But the new Assistant Director of Labor, Harrison Sand, says his major goal is to ensure that the renewal of work permits are kept to a minimum.
Once the labor certificate is issued, one of the conditions for issuing those certificates is that the employer would train Bahamians to work along with the expats so that the Bahamian will have the experience when their work permit ends and Bahamians can then move into those positions. So the renewals would present a problem. I have no problems with the initial application, but after a year or two, there's no reason why Bahamians cannot move into those positions.
He says fostering a good working relationship with the business community and good industrial practices are also paramount, but he admits that there are some challenges on Grand Bahama.
In my view, it's almost in a state of penury. There's the absence of economic activities, and those challenges where people are moving out of the area into other family islands looking for employment. I know that's not, we don't work miracles and we don't have all the answers, but we're going to do the best we can working with the private sector and with government to see if we can somewhat alleviate those hardships where they occur.
Nonetheless, he says the Department of Labor will do its best to assist residents in any way they can.
What we are trying to do, or what we would be venturing into, is trying to see if we could get the economy moving by working along with the private sector, the schools, and the trade unionists to see whether or not we can help bring some economic relief to the island of Grand Bahama. We know that this island has been depressed and it is kind of tough out there finding jobs. So we're going to be focusing on especially those areas where businesses requires foreign workers, and we're going to try to do the best we can to sort of keep that at a minimum.
In other news, major stakeholders on Grand Bahama gearing up for what is expected to be a mega trade show that could very well provide the impetus needed to boost Grand Bahama's ailing economy. The Design Caribbean Trade Show 2013 is set for mid-June, and regional officials were on Grand Bahama to formulate a master plan. Joan Davis-Rolle has this story.
The special working session coming on the heels of the historic signing between the government and key agencies on Grand Bahama as they prepare to stage the historic Design Caribbean Trade Show. For coordinators, it is a work in progress as local stakeholders recently hosted their regional counterparts for what is expected to become a series of planning and brainstorming sessions leading up to this major event. Caribbean Export Development Association Executive Joellen Liria says that the event will not only economically empower Grand Bahama, but also provide some much-needed exposure for this northern island.
We are looking at around 500 people. That's including the artisans that are coming from across the region, the buyers that will be coming from, international buyers coming from Europe, from the North American market, and obviously also regional. And that coupled with the tourism attraction that we have here, we expect that we do have a considerable amount of interest in Design Caribbean.
She stated that the goal of the event is multifold and Grand Bahama will ultimately benefit from a trade show of this magnitude.
The purpose of the event is to really showcase the best of the best that the Caribbean has got to offer from the cultural industries. The trade show will showcase the design element, the products that that our artisans within the region have got to offer the international marketplace, and that being from home accessories to jewellery to spa and health products as well. And largely, what we have found that the craftsmanship that we have within the region is of an impeccable standard that really does suit the international market. So the event in itself really provides a platform to really expand the export capability from within the Caribbean region as a totality.
President of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, Barry Malcolm, says that the Chamber has committed its resources and it is anticipated that local businesses will benefit in a meaningful way.
I see this as an opportunity for the Chamber to support an enterprise that really builds and strengthens small business development here in the country. It's a very, very important aspect of developing the capabilities and, more importantly, the market reach of small businesses here in Grand Bahama.
Joan Davis-Rolle, ZNS Network News.
The Commissioner of Police is breaking his silence on the police-related shooting of Bahamian artist Job Mr. Versatile Munnings over in Abaco. The country's top cop is adamant that transparency and accountability will prevail. For weeks, the family of Job Munnings has been demanding answers on the tragic death of their loved one. Reports say he was mistakenly shot and killed by police in Abaco on January 22nd. While they say they have yet to receive any answers from the relevant authorities, Commissioner of Police Ellison Greenslade is now giving an update on this matter.
It's always difficult when families are grieving, when things go wrong to the extent that someone dies. And so I offered previously my condolences to the family, all of the families, and I did that personally. I had an occasion to meet with the family of the young man who was fatally shot by police officers in Abaco, and shared as much as I could personally. And I assured them that this commissioner was here to serve all of the people of the country, and that anything that I do is always going to be transparent and above board.
While the family claims that their cries have fallen on deaf ears, the police chief is adamant that the laws of the Bahamas will prevail.
Where on my watch as commissioner, something does not line up, as I said in Nassau just a few days ago, the chips will fall where they may. I am satisfied that having looked at the files involved in each case, the case in Abaco, and the two most recent cases in New Providence, that due process has been allowed. We've been fair to both sides, and I am now at the stage where I've reposed my fullest confidence in Her Majesty's coroner.
As the family awaits a decision, Greenslade gives the assurance that the right course of action will be taken.
I'm not going to be mean-spirited to police officers who are serving, and I'm certainly not going to be mean-spirited to members of the public. But what I will say is, where we are culpable as an organization, any police officer, the law must take its course. Where a member of the public is culpable, the law must take its course. And I'm very satisfied that we are serving you as a public in a transparent fashion.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.